Over the last 12 months, I have helped multiple course creators generate well over 6 figures using email marketing. And in this video, I'm going to reveal exactly how we do it step by step. I'm going to give you my entire 6-figure email marketing strategy, including exactly what emails we send, the automations, how to write these emails, how we use AI and ChatGPT to help us get this content out, and how we optimize all of our flow so that we're constantly making more money with the emails that we've got. First, we're gonna map out this entire email marketing system so you can see exactly where every single email goes and how it fits together. Then I'm gonna walk you through exactly how to set everything up step by step. Next, we'll go over how to build all of this even if you're just starting from day one, and I'll show you the AI tools that we're using to help get all of this done a lot faster these days. Just really quick, if you don't know me already, my name is Brice. I help online education companies sell their courses online. And so stuff like this email marketing systems, paid ads, is all the stuff that I've been doing for nearly the last decade. And in today's video, I'm just gonna show you everything you need to know about email marketing. The very first thing is walking through exactly what this sequence looks like and where all the emails fit into place. And so the example that we're using right now is for like a high ticket offer. So what we run is a lot of VSL sales call funnels where we are booking sales calls for a sales team so we can sell high ticket offers over the phone. And so imagine someone sees an ad, or they watch a YouTube video and then they see a link in the description, or they click on the link on the ad. They go to a page and we are offering them some kind of video training, some kind of video sales letter. And so after they opt into that, the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have an automation in our CRM. Again, I'm going to show you how to set all of this up here in just a little bit, but we're going to have an automation in our CRM that is going to deliver the lead magnet, whatever that thing is that we've offered. So if you're a smaller company, maybe you just have one of these. But if you're a larger company, you have multiple lead magnets, which is the case for pretty much all the companies we work with. That's why we set it up this way. So we just have one automation that delivers that specific lead magnet. And then we have one email that follows up and just delivers specific content related to the lead magnet that they just got. Now at this point, at the end of that very first automation, and again, I'm going to show you how to set all of this up here in just a minute. But first, I just want to show you the idea so that no matter what CRM you're using, whether you're using the one that we use or a different one, all of that stuff, you can always set this up. So at the end of the automation, the goal that we're looking for is if they took the action that we want them to take. And in this example, again, for like a VSL sales call funnel, we're looking to see if they actually booked a call with their sales team. So if they did that, that's great. We add them to a segment in the CRM that lets us know that they booked a call. And then from there, the sales team takes over. So we don't need to move them into a next automation. Now, most people don't book a call right away. Actually, the vast majority of people will not book a call right away. And so then what we do is we trigger to start our indoctrination sequence. And the way that we set this up is we have a series of emails where what we're looking for is the first couple of emails, we're trying to find the people who take action quickly. So one thing that we figured out is that people take action for different reasons, right? And people have different buying personality types. And just like people have different ways that they learn or have different ways that they make decisions. And so what we want to try to do in this sequence is make sure that we're hitting on all the different people and the different ways that people buy. And so the first couple of emails, we're just looking for the people who are ready to take action. These are super direct emails. We are making an offer to get them on the phone with the sales team. After that, what we start doing is doing a little more nurturing. And so these are more like content story-led emails. These are for people who need more information to make decisions. And so we've got a few emails that we're sending out that are, again, just more content-based, a little bit longer emails. And then finally, the last couple emails that we have are objection handling. So we're really always trying to keep an ear out for what are the biggest objections we're getting. We're talking to the salespeople to figure out what are the objections they're getting on the phone. We're looking at comments that we're getting in ads. We're having conversations with people back and forth via email. We're managing the inbox there. And we're looking for like, what are the objections and the questions that people have? And we're seeing if we can handle those biggest objections right up front. A little bit later, I will get into exactly how we optimize all of this, but really these emails are coming from what are our top performing emails that we've sent out over the entirety that we've been running email marketing for this business. And so we'll get into a little bit more of that. But if you're wondering like, where do we get these content-led emails? It's really our top performing content emails. So at this point, we're doing a check again, right? This is one sequence in our CRM. And we're saying, did they take the action we wanted them to take? Did they book that call? Again, if they did, we add them to a segment that lets us know, hey, this person has booked a call. The sales team takes over from there. If they didn't, one of the things we're looking for is, did they click over to the sales page and not buy? So did we get them all the way to the bottom of the funnel? And what presumably seemed to be an issue was they had like a pricing objection or some kind of issue there. If they took action, so they were actually engaging in these sequences, they're clicking on links, they're just not buying, what we have is another sequence that tries to handle those objections for people who are super aware. So again, we're assuming at this point, like they've been reading our emails, they're clicking on them, they've gone to our sales page, they know what our offer is, they've seen our pricing if they've watched our VSL. And again, that's a deeper question about like whether or not you reveal your pricing or not. In this particular case, we actually do reveal the pricing for the offer at the end of the VSL. So we're assuming they've gotten all of that and they just haven't taken action. So again, these are some like fast action emails, a content story-led email, and some objection handling emails that are specifically based on thinking that someone has the awareness of everything they need to know about our offer and something's still holding them back. And so again, a lot of this is listening out for, what are the things we hear from people at this stage of the buying cycle, and what are the things that they need to hear in order to be able to move forward. So that's what we have if people are engaging in this sequence and moving forward or not. Now, if they're not engaging, so let's say they've gotten to this point, they're now, let's say 2 weeks into opting into our VSL, they're not clicking on our emails, they don't seem like they're super interested. What we do then is we take them to a downsell sequence. And so this is a lower ticket offer that we have that we sell just through email. We do not sell it we don't sell it over the phone. This is just a specific sequence for selling our lower ticket offer. And so anyone who's gone through this and they haven't engaged, what we do is we send them to our low ticket offer. Again, we've kind of got that same structure of like fast action, content, and then objection handling. And what we're looking for at the end of that sequence is, did they buy that product? If they did, great. We have a post-purchase sequence that we send them to, which is basically like how to get the best results with this product, try to get people to be happy, and then actually upselling them back into the high ticket offer that we have. But if they haven't taken that action, we're still not there yet. And then what we have is our best of newsletter sequence. So this is where we are always keeping an eye out for what are the best emails that we send out that get the most engagement, right? Like in terms of what gets the most clicks, what books the most calls, what sells the most, what gets the most conversations started, what gets really good quality conversations started, all of that stuff. And what we're always doing is just adding and taking out emails into this sequence. So if we see something doing really well, we add it here to the best of. If it continues to perform really well, we leave it. We go through this regularly and see what's not doing well, we take it out. But we're always looking for this like best of, because the way we look at it is we've spent all of this time and resources writing all of these emails. Again, for some of these companies, we've been writing their emails for years. So we've spent thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours writing emails. We want to make sure that anyone who comes into the business sees the best content that we wrote. Otherwise, if we don't do this, we've got all this great content, we haven't been sending it out. And there's absolutely no rule that says you can only send an email once. So what we're doing is we're always looking for our best emails and sending those out over and over again. And then again, once we get to the end of the sequence, we take a look. Did they book a call? If they did, great. We tag them to say that they booked a call. Sales team takes over. If that's not the case, we add them to what we just call our general newsletter list. And these are the people who are finally getting the emails that we just write every week. And again, we'll get to like how often should you write here in a little bit. And so what we've got is a list of people who have gone through all of this. They haven't taken the action that we want them to take. And so we're just keeping them up to date, and we're coming up with new angles and new ideas and new ways to engage these people. We're coming up with new promotions and all that kind of stuff, and we're sending it out to these people. And then again, what we're doing is regularly is going and looking at, okay, what are the best performing newsletter emails that we're sending? We're adding them into this best of. If they continue to do well, they leave them. And if they seem to do insanely well, because we're like, wow, this email we came up with is just killing it, then what we do is we move it up further into the list. And so we get that into the initial indoctrination sequence to get people to take action. And so this is what a fully built out email marketing automation sequence will look like inside of one of our CRMs. And again, I'll show you exactly how to set all this up here in a little bit. The important thing is if you're just getting started, know that you don't start with all this. What you start with is just one sequence, and you're just sending out regular emails, and you're automating your best emails over time. And then you're looking at the ones that continue to perform well, you're leaving them in, you're adding them in, you're looking at the ones that don't seem to do well, you're taking them out. And then you're building this up over time. I mean, this took us months to get built out. But what it was all emails that were going out in our general newsletter list. We were just sending out emails to everybody on our list who wasn't in an automation. And then what we were doing is just slowly and slowly adding things into here. So like this downsell sequence started as the promotion we used when we launched this product. And then we automated that into our CRM, and we continue to optimize that. This bottom of the funnel sequence ended up as a promotion that we ran to all the people that we saw who were clicking on the sales page, were getting really close to booking a call with our sales team, but never took that action. And so this was just a promotion we ran 1 month, and then we automated that into our CRM. And so that's how a lot of this evolves over time. It's like you start with one really simple sequence, and then what you end up with is something that looks like this. And so again, what this does really well is it takes into consideration the stages that people are at when they're going to buy products like this. And so we have people who are unaware of the products that we have. Maybe they're unaware of the solutions that we provide. And so we're trying to educate people more on the problem and talk to people that way. We have a lot of story-based content that we use to also build a relationship with the reader. And then we also take into consideration people who are farther in the buying cycle. They probably know the offer that we have. They might even know our pricing, and we're trying to speak to them that way. So that's what this does really well. It also takes into consideration that different people buy different ways, right? So not everybody is just a super fast action taker. Some people need more information. Some people need more logical information. Some people need more of an emotional pull. And then eventually people just have one or two objections that are holding them back. And so we're trying to come up with different ways to figure out what those objections are and build that into our sequence so we can address these objections before we get someone on the phone, so that once we get someone on the phone, they are a highly qualified and ready to buy individual who has all the information that they need to make a decision. Now they're just talking with someone on our sales team. So I've walked you through what this all looks like at a high level. And keep in mind, the reason I wanted to show you at a high level so you can see what it really looks like when it's all built out. If you're just getting started, if you're brand new, if you don't have any emails to send out, don't worry. Because what we're going to do is we're going to build up to this, and I'm going to explain to you how all of that works. Now, as far as the best platform to build all of this out, the platform that I'm going to recommend is Kajabi. And I'll tell you why. It's because after working with a ton of companies, what I've seen is we're usually already paying for a course platform. And I think Kajabi is the best at that. I think their delivery, their mobile app, the way that their library in the store works, all that stuff is just really good. So as far as a course delivery platform, I think it's one of the best. And then which a lot of companies end up doing is they're paying for that, and then they're also paying for a CRM or an email marketing platform. And most email marketing platforms charge you by the contact. And so once you start to have a list that's tens of thousands of people as your company grows, you end up spending thousands of dollars a month to have your email marketing platform and your course delivery platform. And so what I like about Kajabi, and the reason that we've just grown to really get used to it and to love it, is because we can have our course delivery platform and our email platform all in one. We're paying one price, and we're not going to end up paying thousands of dollars a month to have a really big email list as your company grows. And so again, that's why we've gotten to use Kajabi. It's not as visual as a lot of the other builders out there, but we've learned to deal with that and make it work. And so I'll recommend Kajabi. If you want to grab a free 30-day trial, I've got a link down in the description below. And I've also got some instructions where if you do want to sign up for Kajabi, you want to sign up through my link, I get a little affiliate commission when you do that. And so what I'll do is if you will follow the instructions on the page to show me that you signed up through my link, I will even send you my email copywriting course for free. And so there's some free bonuses if you do choose to sign up at the link down below. You don't have to sign up for Kajabi. If you already have an email platform, pretty much everything that I'm going to show you in this video pertains to every CRM. They're all pretty much the same as the fundamental platform. It's just how they look and where you click is a little different. But when I'm going to talk about setting up the right settings and tags and triggers and automations and all of that stuff, you could do any one of this in pretty much any CRM. We've built it out in tons of them. And so that is my little rant on why you should use Kajabi. Let me show you how to get this all set up. So once you get into Kajabi, really the only important setting that you need to know is if you come into settings under marketing settings, down here is where you can control like the actual domain and the branding that you're sending from. So, so you can make sure it's like your name at whatever your domain is.com. That's really important to have set up here, and also the reply email address so that when people are replying to emails, if you want to make sure those come to your inbox, that's where you're going to set these up here. Now, when you want to get started sending emails, under here, marketing, under email campaigns, you've really got two types of emails. So you got broadcasts and sequences. A broadcast is like an email that you're going to send at a specific time. So it's just like tomorrow at 8 a.m., I want to send an email to all of this group of people inside of my database. The other one is a sequence, and that's pretty much what we've been talking about over here. So like everything here, this is a sequence. In other CRMs, they call them like automations, they call them flows. Kajabi calls them sequences. So when we're talking about sequences, that's it. So what we're going to be setting up in this video is we're going to be setting up our first two sequences that we need. We're going to set up this first one that actually delivers whatever it is that someone opted in for, whether that's a lead magnet, a VSL, whatever that is. And then we're also going to set up our indoctrination sequence. And so that way, once someone gets whatever that they opted in for, we've also got a series of emails to go out and get them to take the next most important step that they need to take to become a customer of your business. Now, before we get into setting up sequences, there's one other term we need to understand, which is called tags. Now, tags you can see here on my little contact profile. These are these little things that come up right here. With tags is how we can track the different actions that people take on our website or within our CRM. And this is where we can kind of start and stop sequences as we go forward. So these become really important as we go forward. So one of the things that I like to do is actually, before I get started with anything, I like to go in and set up the tags that I know I'm going to need. These are kind of the categories that I've found helps over time. So you can see like you can just have as many tags in here as you want. If you don't organize them, it can get a little messy. So this is kind of my list over here is like one I'll just call it an automation. So these first ones are kind of the category. So it's like the automation, whatever the automation name is, received. This is how I can put a tag in that lets me know who has received a certain automation. If they've been in automation, I'll show you how to get all this set up here a bit. Clicked. So if someone's clicking on an email, this is really helpful so that we can track what people are actually engaging with. People download lead magnets all the time. They never even open them. So even this way we could track like, okay, who are the people taking action, clicking on sales pages, opening lead magnets, downloading the things that we sent them. Interest. So this is what we'll use oftentimes if we'll send out topics on emails on different themes. So like for me, it might be email marketing and Facebook ads. For somebody else, it might be like, I don't know, losing weight and building muscle, right? So as we send out emails that have very specific themes, we will tag people who are engaging with those on interest so we can kind of segment our CRM going forward. Opt-in for whatever lead magnets people are downloading. Purchase, so whatever products people are buying. If they're a refunder, if we're doing sales to a sales team, has this person submit an application, booked a call. This general newsletter is just anyone who is on the general newsletter. And then if we're like building up, pre-selling a product, a wait list, and then what's the name of that? So these are some of the tags that I have found to be helpful. So I will oftentimes just run through and set up the basic one of these. So like my automations, my lead magnets, my products, my sales tags, anything like that. So at least I know I have those and I can go in to start setting up my automations. So getting into the sequences, this sequence is going to be the very first sequence where we're actually delivering whatever somebody has opted in for, whether that's a lead magnet, a VSL, an ebook, whatever you got. And so the important things we need to understand with automations is we have subscription triggers. So basically like what is the thing that's going to start this automation? And what would be the thing that ends this automation? So if we needed to pull somebody out of this automation because they took the step that we wanted them to take, maybe that's like book a sales call, purchase a product, we wanted to end these emails. Those are the really two important ones to know. So like really simple for this one, if somebody fills out the form that they want to download this lead magnet, right? Then what we want to do is we want to start this automation. And this automation has one email in it. And in this email automation, what we've got is the actual email that delivers them the thing that they wanted to get. So that's this right here. And so what I have found to be helpful, especially when it comes to emails and understanding like how they should look and stuff, we only send plain text emails. Every now and then, maybe we'll throw an image in an email, but we really only send 95% of the time plain text email. So if you see these emails, they're going to be like 16, 18 point font, super simple. Even in Kajabi, it has this one little thing that comes up that's like view in web browser link. And we will actually just like come in and even hide this in the settings so that really the only option people have is to just view this super simple plain text email right here. That's in the settings right here under view in web link browser. So what you'll see that people get is they just get this one text-based section where they have an email that they can read. And what you can do is you can actually save this as a template. So I'll save this as like, 16 point, 18 point, open sans font, whatever. And then I'll show you how we can go back and use that later. But so when we set this up, day zero means it's going to be delivered immediately when someone subscribes. An internal title, so just what email it is, that's what's going to show up in your little list. The subject line, the preview text, and then actually setting up the content of the email. So once you've got that, you can use test email. So you can actually just send this to yourself, make sure it looks good. And then from there, that's how you've set up your first email. And so what we'll do is we'll come in here, we'll set up our very first email. It'll look exactly like this. Save this as a template. So, again, I can say like 18 point, open sans, plain text. Hit save or create, and then we're good to go. And so now moving on to this kind of like next step, what I like to do is I like to add a tag that lets me know that this person downloaded this thing. So again, they filled out this form, they got this email. Now I know, okay, they have got this lead magnet. So I'm going to add this tag to them so that when I find that person in the future, I would even know, okay, these are the lead magnets that person has downloaded. Now, after this, So let's say they finish this automation, right? They got this email that they were supposed to get. The next thing that we want them to do is once this last email is sent, in this case, this one right here, what we're going to do is we're going to subscribe them to a different email sequence. So they've completed this one, and now we want them to go to this indoctrination sequence. And so coming over here to my indoctrination sequence, what I've kind of done here is this person has finished this one, and what we're going to do is they haven't booked the call. They haven't taken the action that we need them to take. And so we want to start that next sequence, which is that indoctrination sequence. And so this sequence starts when someone completes this last sequence and they come over here. And then you can see we've got this first one that goes out at day 1. So this isn't going to send immediately. This is going to wait 1 day, and then it's going to send this email. And then we're going to add a tag to let us know, hey, this person's in that automation sequence. So we can use that later if we want to filter for people who have already gone through this once. And then we've just got the rest of the emails going out. So we've got day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and we can keep building out the emails. Now, what we've also got here is this unsubscribe trigger. So again, like we said, the action we want them to take is to book a call. And so this unsubscribe trigger is if at any point in the sequence, this person does book a call and we use that form to add this tag, then what we're going to do is we're going to remove this person from this sequence so that what happens is they stop getting these emails, they go to the sales team, and the sales team can handle that. Or we can fire another sequence that's for people who booked calls. And so again, that's kind of the most important parts of these sequences is knowing what is the subscribe trigger and the unsubscribe trigger. And then we always like to throw in this little tag for like, how can we track people who have gone through this sequence? So that's really it for sequences. Really the two most important things you need to think about as you're setting these up is like, what is the subscribe trigger? So what is the action that's supposed to happen that's going to start all of this from happening, start all of these sequences. So it's going to get people to start receiving these emails. And then what would be the goal or the action that someone would take that would get them to end these emails so that they're not going to get them anymore because they presumably taken the action they were supposed to take, whether that's fill an application, book a call, buy something, or we're going to end this automation, probably because we're going to start another one somewhere else. And then if I need to add an email to this automation, again, it's just add a new email. You can see my custom template shows up right here. So I've just got this super simple basic email. I click on that, I get started, I give it a title. This is my email 6. Let's say this is my story about how I got started. And now it adds this next email into my sequence. And then I can go in and decide, okay, how many days from when the sequence got started should this be sent out? So, this is my eighth day. This email will go out. I give it a subject. I give it a preview. I come in here. I edit my content. I put whatever my email needs to be. And then I just click save. And so that's how we're going to go out and build out these sequences. And now at this point, how we're going to build these out, why we want to build these out this way. How you can set up these different sequences and fill them up with emails. And we also know how do we get people to start in these sequences using the triggering tags? And then how do we get people to end? So let's say someone books a call and we want to remove them from that. You can use an unsubscribe trigger, and then that will get someone to end this email, and they could presumably end this sequence, and they could presumably either get taken over by somebody else or go into a different sequence, something like that. So one of the most important questions that I get is how do we optimize these things over time? And so what I have found is we will pull all the stats, we'll keep them in a spreadsheet, something kind of like this. And then we'll also keep a doc that just kind of outlines what are the observations that we're seeing, what should we be sending, what's our general strategy, and how do we keep improving this? And so we'll just drop all the stats in here for what are the emails that are getting sent out, how many people did it get sent to, what segment did it get sent to, if we have different writers, who wrote it, what was the subject line. Then we look at opens, clicks, and then as well as what was the expected outcome that we wanted, and how many people took that action. And so this is where we can go through and start judging emails based on what did we expect to happen? So were we asking for replies? Were we trying to get calls booked? Were we trying to get sales? And then how many of those did happen so we can start to compare them to other emails that we've sent out with a similar call to action. And then what we can do is find the best ones and start to move those into automations. We can also look at stats over time and see which ones are the ones that haven't performed as well. We can take those out and try swapping those out with a different one. The other thing that I find is helpful is just having a little doc that kind of outlines generally what is our strategy. So how many emails are we trying to send out every month? When do we do promos, or when do we do big pushes for particular things? And then what is the content that we want to be sending out when we're not doing a promotion or something like that? And so we can keep a little doc like this. That's here's the stuff that we've seen, the ideas that we have, what are we promoting? Keeping a customer avatar, tone of voice doc, anything like that, stuff that's gotten responses. and then keeping like what's a super signature that we use in our emails. Okay, so now that we've talked about all that, let's talk about where do you get started if you are brand new at this? Because I think this is one of the big questions people have is they're like, hey, this all sounds great, but this looks like a lot of work. And I'm a brand new beginner. I'm just getting started sending emails. What should I do? And so I think the important thing here is to just get into a cadence of regularly sending emails. What you want to do is get into a habit where you're sending a couple of emails a week. I think if you're just getting started and if all you can do is commit to 1 or 2 emails a week, that's fine. Just keep sending 1 or 2 emails a week. And then what you can do is, as you're going forward, you're getting new leads on your list and you're sending out emails every single week to everybody on your list. You can start to build these first automations. Your very first sequence, your very first automation can just be 3 or 4 emails that goes out to someone who downloads your free thing. So maybe you've got a YouTube channel, you've got a lead magnet on there. If someone downloads that lead magnet, what are the first 3 or 4 emails that you want them to get after they opt in before they go onto your kind of general broadcast newsletter list and just start getting regular updates from you? And just start there. Because then what you can do is you can just keep adding to it. As you send out new broadcast emails that do really well, if people respond really well, or you get people to buy, or you get people to book calls, you can just take that one email and add it to the end of your very first sequence. And now what you've got is you're slowly building out a sequence of your best emails to go out to people who come into your list after you've written them. And over time, these sequences will develop and they will get better, and you'll have more and more email content to work with. Because if you're just getting started, you've only ever written 4 emails, these kinds of automations can seem like a lot. But once you've been doing this for a few months and you've got 50 emails to choose from, it's going to be a lot easier to look at your stats and kind of look at what had the best response and pick the best 8 emails that you could send out. Now, one tool that I have found to be insanely helpful when it comes to writing these emails is ChatGPT. And so I'm using this pretty much every time I'm writing email sequences these days. Really, I think once you kind of figure out how to use it, I definitely have found that to be very helpful. I think one of the biggest things that I have come to learn with this is it's never going to write you a fully done email. And like, it's never just going to do all the work for you, but it really can help you get some ideas and get some first drafts out fast. The best thing that I have found these days that are working well is using GPTs. And so what we'll do anytime I have a new brand that we're working with or anything, I come in here and I create a new GPT. And I will give it a name. I'll say, this is my, whatever brand, email copywriter. And then for instructions, you can use this create feature. Or we've kind of developed some instructions here where we say like, hey, we want you to be a copywriter. We want you to be focused on email. Here are our biggest influences and the people that we really like and how they write emails. We want you to go study and learn from all of them. Now what we want you to do is become our email copywriter. The 3 docs that we give them is we give them a tone of voice doc where we write out what is the tone of voice and how this brand writes. And then we go get like 20 emails that we've already sent out and we put that all in a Google Doc. We download it as a PDF so that we can put it in here and it knows how to write. We give it a customer avatar, and then we give it our products and offers. So we make a list of all of our products and offers, and we upload that into the knowledge base so that it knows what's the tone of voice, who is the customer writing for, and what are the products we're writing for. And so once we have that, then what we'll do is we'll just come in here, we'll create the GPT, and then we can go back and forth with the GPT. And what I find it's really good at is coming up with ideas and then getting out first drafts. And so oftentimes what that looks like is we'll kind of brainstorm with the GPT where we'll say like, hey, okay, right now what we want to do is we want to write a series of emails to promote this product. The series that we're going to write is, the first email we need to write is like a teaser email. And what are some angles we could take to promote this product to this customer avatar? It'll come up with 4 or 5 angles. And we say, great, we really like angle number 3. Let's write that one. And then we say, okay, you write that email. Then what it can do is you can go back and forth with it a little bit, kind of polish it off, get that into a Google Doc, and then you go be the one that polishes and edits it off. That's really what I found to be the best way to work with GPT, but it has definitely really helped turn down the amount of time that we're spending writing emails and at least get a draft up that's like 60, 70% of the way there before we go on to actually like write the whole thing. All right, so finally to wrap this up, I'm just gonna rapid fire off some of the biggest questions that I get down in the comments below. And if you do have questions about any of this, please feel free to drop them down in the comments below. I'm always jumping in there and answering questions as best as I can. But after doing a lot of content on this channel, I can tell you some of the biggest ones that I've got. So one of the first ones is, how often should I email my list? And really, I think the best answer is like, as often as you can, the better. So we've had brands where we're emailing 7 times a week, and that works. As long as you can keep the quality up and you are not just spamming people with offers, we have generally found that most people don't read all your emails. So even though you're popping up in their inbox every day, they're probably not reading every single piece of content you put out. But when something catches their eye, they open the email from you, and then that's a really good way to stay engaged with your audience. So following up, people then say, well, won't people get tired of hearing from me? And again, most people aren't reading every single thing that you put out. I think oftentimes as brand owners, we think that people are constantly paying attention to us because we're always thinking about what we're doing. But people are living in their own world. They're doing their own thing. They're not really paying attention to you. They probably have 2,000 unread emails in their inbox. They're not really noticing that you're another one until you have a subject line or something that pops out. The big thing is, when somebody has the problem that you solve, you want to make sure that you're at the top of the inbox. And so that's why we really like to keep sending. So again, we've had brands where we write every single day for them. And if you're just getting started and all you can commit to is once or twice a week, and that's how you keep your quality up, that's totally fine. I do think anything less than once a week is really starting to short yourself on what you can do with your email marketing. Another question is, how often should I sell versus nurture my email list? And so one rule that we like to use this is what we call the 70-30 rule, which means we want 70% of our content to be value driven and we want 30% of our content to be sales. Now that doesn't mean you can only sell in 30% of your emails. Oftentimes what we'll do is we will write an email, 70% of the content is just pure value or a story or something to connect with our reader. And at the very end of that email, we have a CTA. Maybe it's at the end of the email, maybe it's in the PS. But we've got at the bottom of the email some kind of offer, and most of the email is valuable content that they could take something away from it, whether they buy whatever we have it is or take the action in the email or not. And then when we send 3 or 4 emails, we have the space to just send one email, pure offer. And that's where we're just directly asking someone to take the next step, whether that's buy the thing, fill out the application, book the call, whatever that is. Last question is, how do I get more people to open my emails? So one of the obvious things that stands out is subject lines, because subject lines are the things that pop up in somebody's inbox that get somebody to want to click on it. And so working on your subject lines, having better subject lines, having shorter, more curiosity-based subject lines always helps. And I do find that for a lot of people, what a lot of newer writers tend to do is they tend to summarize the email in the subject line, when really what you want to do is use the subject line to get somebody to open the email. But I think what a lot of people don't talk about is the relationship that you have with your audience also impacts your subject line. Like, I know I have people that pop in my inbox. I don't really care what their subject line is. I just know that person and I like that person and I like the content they put out. So if they send me an email, I'm just going to read it because it's them. And so while yes, you can use subject lines to continue to improve your email open rates and to try to get people to open your emails, one of the best things you can do is just continue to send out really good, valuable content and train people to know that when you send out stuff, it's going to be valuable for them. Now, this takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work, but it really comes down to like knowing who your audience is, knowing what the problems that they have are, and then making valuable content for them, sending out via email, and then also making valuable offers for them. Because if you're selling them stuff that helps them and you're sending them free stuff that helps them, chances are they're probably going to want to open their emails when they see you in their inbox. All right, so that is it. That is my full email marketing masterclass that we put together here in this video. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments below. Also, please check out the links that I have in the description. I've got, again, some of the tools that we talked about. We've got Kajabi and that free trial. I've also got some other really valuable email resources down there that you can download. So please check those out. If you like this video, please hit like, subscribe, save, come back to it. Use it to help you set up your email marketing. That's all I got. If you like this video, please check out this one next because I've got more good stuff in this video. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in another video.